you feel? Mind, would you be my neighbor? Welcome, everybody. Welcome to all. Oh, do I have my stand? Yeah, we've been running. I apologize. We are so not together because we just left the grand opening of the new city mission, what we are calling. Oh yeah, we got to close doors. They're banging and outside. We got a whole building here, a whole entire building, like conference room and all that. And they bang outside the studio. We just cut the ribbon at the City Mission's new building. If you've seen it downtown, this has been, I was the honorary chair to raise the last $4 million and for a $15 million building. And I am happy to say that we went over the $15 million. Nice. And now men who go to the City Mission, and it's not just for the men anymore, there is a full community center there where over 30 partners are in one building, so that if a person, man or woman, finds themselves homeless or before homelessness, so it's not just waiting to react, but it is about how do we do better even before you get there. You can come in, and 30 different agencies there to help you to avoid homelessness. And then where we used to house the men was just cots, one big room, like big rooms, very unhealthy, very unsafe, but it's what the model was decades ago. Now they have individual pods for privacy. Okay. There are a few that have a door depending on which stage that person is in life. And also what we found is some people, when they get discharged, if they are in a hospital for care, when they get discharged from the hospital, they found themselves homeless, but they still needed care. So now we have beds there, hospital beds and partners. Also, Jericho Road has a spot there. Nice. So this is, and there is mental health services. So now in one center, and I'm just so thankful, when I was asked to be the honorary chair to raise this money, I said no. I was like, I got so much on me, I can't do it. But after prayer and say big ups to Aubrey, who ran the Capitol campaign, and Stewart, who is the head of the City Mission. But I fought hard even before I was elected, and definitely after I was elected, because some people did not want City Mission to stay in downtown Buffalo. As downtown Buffalo started to grow, the thought was, we don't want people as soon as you come into downtown Buffalo to pass the City Mission. And I thought that was horrible. Even the City Mission itself had made a decision at one point, we'll just sell this land because it's very valuable, and we'll find another location. So I remember when I first got elected, they were like, well, are there any other locations? We kind of want to stay close to downtown. And I was like, yeah, right where you're at. Steve Carmina, and I'm saying all this so people understand the weight of this, the architect met with Stewart and the board, and he was like, we can build what you want right here on your parking lot. And that's what they did. And now we have a premier facility in the city of Buffalo, and this is what I just said in the speech that I gave, is that a city's success cannot be simply measured on the shiny new buildings that it builds. Right. It has to be built on the people that it builds. Right. And so a lot of people, when they hear the word city mission, think it belongs to the city of Buffalo. It does not. City Mission is a not-for-profit Christian organization that runs basically on donations. A lot of people don't know that. The city doesn't do, I think in this campaign we did something along with the administration, but the operation of the City Mission is all on people who donate every year, who give every year, in order, and the grants that they get in order to keep it running. If you go to some other cities, and I've been to cities, Atlanta, now I don't know what Atlanta's homeless center looks like now, but I remember what it looked like some years ago, and it wasn't pretty. You go to other areas, and what we have in Buffalo, and I'm bragging about it because we love to go to ribbon cuttings for business, and for this and for that. But at the end of the day, I had a chance in my lifetime, and I'm telling you, other than the telethon, the Variety Club telethon, which I had the opportunity to raise money for, this is one of the greatest honors, because somebody who is homeless will have a place to stay. That's right. And they will have food. And I thank the Alfieri family, who gave a lot of money, and the building is named after them. And this young man came, he's the son, and he came in a trench coat, black tie, very unassuming, and talked about how his family's purpose, because they have wealth, is to give away a great portion of their wealth to help other people. Wow. Awesome. Russell Salvatore, yes. We begged Russell, and Russell wrote one check, came back like the next day and wrote another check. And then we were looking for sponsors for the restaurant there, where we feed there. And Aubrey called Russell and said, hey, can you help us find somebody? And he called back and said, I'll tell you what, I'll sponsor it. What does it look like to put Russell, it's Russell's dining facility. Right. But the chaplain there is African-American. Matter of fact, I just found out that Pastor Hardaway's wife, well, I think she's co-pastor, in Niagara Falls is a chaplain, Pastor Robinson, other people who are there. This is big for me. For Buffalo, I just feel it's big because of how many cities want to get rid of the homeless population. And Buffalo and Crystal Peoples-Stokes was there, the mayor was there, Tim Kennedy was there, but Buffalo has embraced it. And he wasn't there today, but I'm going to say this because I was afraid that one businessman who has a location, owns a lot of property down there, would be totally against it. And when he said to me, Darius, I'm all in, and that's Rocco Termini, that really, I'll be honest, it surprised me, because when you have for-profit businesses in the area, most businessmen do not want a facility like City Mission around them. And he embraced it and actually helped us raise money for it. So I want to thank all of those who are involved. I got a lot to cover today. I've got Tim Newkirk. Is Tim still with us? Yeah, he's out. Tim is going to come in a minute because there's still a young man missing. There is still a 12-year-old. I don't know if he's turned 13. We're going to talk about that on air today. I'm going to be talking to, and I haven't asked him if I could call him, but I'm just going to call him, Councilmember Rashid Wyatt, who has just filed.
Well, it wasn't filed yet. I just was looking for it, and I had to put that from my email. It wasn't on the agenda yet.
Okay, so he will be filing because it was already in the paper, so it's public. something to repeal the school zone cams. However, it is with a caveat, and I'll let him tell it. It's not just getting rid of them. It's about changing infrastructure so that we still maintain safety for our students. Going to be talking to one of the school board members and their feeling, and then I got Duncan just hanging out. He said just wanted to come and hang out. So I'm going to start to my right because I've got a community partner here that everybody knows. Oh, everybody knows her. We got a camera for
Absolutely.
her. We got
There she is.
Tracy, what are you here for, Mrs. Caldwell? If you'll introduce yourself.
Yes, Tracy Jordan Cardwell from TJC PR Consultants. Today I want to talk about the Silo City Workforce Opportunity Forum that we have for next week.
Okay.
I don't know if you're familiar with Silo City.
Some people out there might not be. Give them a brief.
Okay, it's down at Canal Side or near Canal Side where the old grain elevators used to be. They're renovating it. Their vision, they being Generation Development Group, they are the developers.
What are they making it into?
Mixed use facility that's going to be over 400 apartment homes, 40,000 square feet of office space, exhibition, gallery, green space. It's going to be a facility for if you are an artist of any kind, a musician, a photographer, a dancer, you know, any type of arts creative person, you want to be part of this revitalization.
Well,
He has such an amazing vision. You know, I want to say it's going to be the next Larkinville, but I think it's going to be Larkinville 3.0.
oh, wow.
You know,
wow.
yeah. I mean, I love his vision. Not to mention that the principal of Generation Development Group, Marvin Wilmouth, he's a young brother. He wants to see, as we're building Silo City, he wants to see a diverse workforce on the project.
Okay.
And this is something he is strongly encouraging. I worked with him in the past on AP Lofts, and the first thing he said in meeting him is, I want the people on this project to resemble the people in the neighborhood.
Wow.
You know, so
How does that happen? What do they need to do?
well, that's what they hire me for.
All right, so you are the one putting this together.
That's right, and that's what I have, the workforce opportunity forums. And what we do is we go out into the community, we have these forums, we bring the contractors who are going to be working on the project to the table. And we have people in the community who may have wanted to always work in the construction field but never had the opportunity. Well, this is your opportunity.
Well, they need any type, and I don't have COVID. I've been vaccinated and sick, and so this is all the
It's
sinus
all good.
stuff
It's
going on.
sinuses because of the weather.
Oh gosh,
Absolutely.
It's tearing me up. I'm gonna tell
All
you.
of us,
But I
yeah.
just want you all to know so y'all don't go running out the room like Pridgen
good.
is sick.
We good.
So people who have been in the construction trade, of course, can
Yes.
apply.
Yes.
But what not? You made a. You
Well,
just
no.
No.
No, you don't have to have any experience, and that's the caveat to this. Okay, that's
Oh
why.
yeah, I thought you misspoke.
No,
Okay,
no.
talk to me.
You don't have to have experience. That's what I love about these workforce forums, because we talk to the contractors and it's like, listen, there's a lot of people out here who've always wanted to do this type of work, who always wanted to get into the trades but never have the opportunity. Let's go back to students. Let's talk about students in the high schools.
Yeah.
You know, students who always wanted to go to the McKinleys or the Hutch Techs, but didn't have the grades, because we all know you have to test to get into those schools,
Yeah.
right? So if you can't get into a McKinley school, but all your life I want to be, a laborer, or I want to work on roofing, or I want to do something like that, but you never had the opportunity. So then what happens? They're forced to go into a different school, right? And then take up whatever else is available. So this is how they can get their opportunity. The contractors are willing to train you.
Wow.
They are willing.
And they get paid?
Yes. Yes.
Come on, talk to us. Talk to us.
Yes.
That's
and
big.
here's another great part about it.
Hey, Mark, are they still banging out there? Because we need that air. I need that air, and I want Tim Newkirk to hear this because he works with so many people. So just ask him to give me 45 minutes or okay. I think this is so important.
Yes.
So how old do you have to be?
18 and up.
Old. Okay.
Yep. 18 and up.
18 and up.
Yep.
High school diploma?
Yes.
High school diploma.
Or GED.
Or GED, which is the same.
Exactly.
I do the GED graduation every year. It's my favorite graduation to speak at. So GED, 18 and up. Any cap on the age?
No.
So
no.
you get
If you're
at 56, you want me up on a
listen.
on a,
At 62,
beans.
at 62, if you can get, I know old men who can do it, who still do it.
Okay, so there's no cap on the age.
There's no cap.
18 years old. You don't have to have construction experience.
Right.
And this is the builder who is doing this?
This is the developer.
The
yes.
developer
The
who is doing it.
developer, yes.
And see,
Enforcing it. He
did
is
you know anything
enforcing
about this, Nothing?
I did not. I'm
Never
happy I
heard?
showed up today.
See, this is this is the Power to the People show. This is why we invested in media, so that we can tell our own story, because other stations are doing other stuff about toasters and stuff. And we're over here.
Not toasters.
Toast. I mean, they over there talking about toast, and we over here talking about jobs.
Right.
For people and I probably need to address that in a minute. So how do they get in touch? Well, who do they get in
Okay,
touch?
so now here's the crazy part, because we are in a global pandemic still.
Yep.
You know, people have to respect that COVID is still real and it's still out there.
Yep.
People have to register, because we have to keep control
Absolutely.
of the crowd that comes in.
Okay.
Now, there's two opportunities. You can come to the Tuesday, March 30th at the Pucho Olivencia Center at 261 Swan Street from 6 to 8, or you can come to the April 1st workforce event at the Bell Center, 6 to 8. But you do have to register. You can register
Before you come, you got to
have
register.
to,
So
yes.
you have social distance, you have all those things in
right,
place.
because we cannot accept walk-ins.
Yep. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Give me the website again.
So to register,
Yep.
you have to send in your full name, your email address, and your phone number to workforceopportunity@gmail.com. Or you can send that information, you can call or text it to 716-219-0622. So there's no excuse for you not
Right.
registering.
Because there's both ways. Now, listen,
Right.
if you really want a job, you got to do some of the work.
Listen.
Nobody's going to do it. Now,
Absolutely.
you could if you missed all of that, this is live and it's recorded on Facebook. You can go back, you can look, and make sure somebody in the back office bring me a little thing of water, please. You can just go back and slow it down, write it down. I'm going to have her say it slowly one more time. Folks, if it's not for you, it may be for somebody else.
That's right.
Now, what we cannot do when there are opportunities, then say, ain't no opportunities. Nobody, no. Now, I promise you, the demographic that probably needs this most is not watching. However, the demographic that gathers information is watching. Those aunts, those grandmothers, those
That's
mothers, those girlfriends,
Yes.
all of that, you're watching, and a part of building a community, a village, and it's really crazy because I didn't know what you're coming to talk about as I was driving here, and as I left these other people who have built wealth, I'm thinking, I'm 56 years old. I've heard for years, we need to build wealth, and that usually falls apart because then we build competition more than we build wealth and community. You're bringing us opportunity today, right here, live. So tell them again slowly exactly what we're doing.
Okay. It's called the Silo City Workforce Opportunity Forum. It's for people in the community who've always had a desire to work in the construction field, but never the opportunity.
Okay.
The first one is Tuesday, March 30th at the Pucho Olivencia Center from 6 to 8 p.m. The second one is April 1st at the Bell Center from 6 to 8 p.m. People have to register, and to register, you can go to workforceopportunity@gmail.com, and there you would send in your full name, your email address, and your phone number, and then afterwards I will send you some information.
All right.
You will get a time slot and detailed information of what to expect when you arrive.
All right. So
or they can call 716-219-0622 and leave that same information. You can even text it. Text me the information to that number. You will receive the important information, and most importantly, you will receive a time slot, because that's important. You can't just come to the door and say, hey, I saw you, on Bishop Pridgen's show, and, I want to be it. No, you got to register.
Yep, you got to follow the directions.
You got it, only because we're going to have about 15 to 20 contractors there already.
But because it is the first sign that you really desire a job. Now, let me say
That
this.
too.
Yes.
People can get upset with people who do well in their life, but there's a constant that I find out with people, that they get information, they follow through, and they do the work. I'm 56. I promise you right now that if I was unemployed, I'd find some way to find, as long as I'm healthy in my mind and in my body, I'm going to find some way to make money. What this opportunity is more than just, we're going to let you paint, or we're going to let you sweep up, or we're going to let you direct traffic. We're actually going to help train you.
Right.
That's how you start to build wealth. You have to have a purpose. Somebody's got to want something from you in order to build wealth. And if you are not offering anything, then don't get mad when it is put in front of you.
Right.
Tracy, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I appreciate you.
I appreciate you.
All right, the woman that everybody knows, her and her husband, the power couple,
That'd be you and your wife.
that's you and your husband. I'm so proud. I'm proud of African Americans when they're doing their thing. You know what I mean?
It's
you
powerful.
and your wife. I mean, I like I told you last time you were on, I didn't know how high up the ladder she was and what she does. And that's the power. And when we show that more and more, that it's a blessing. Can we get Tim in here?
Yep.
And Tim is outside. I've asked Tim to come in. I really tried to contact him last week, and I'm just going to say this about Tim Newkirk. And Tim Newkirk is a worker. He is more. We have had so many homegoings at this church where people have been killed by homicide, actually. And I would say Tim is probably at 90% of them, and not just here, but he knows 90% of the families. I don't know what set you roll with. I'm probably saying it all wrong. I don't know, but it is almost as if I've never seen you say, I can't come to that funeral because I don't get along with them. So I don't know what you did in life, or but for some reason there is a great respect for you, whether it's somebody who's been murdered from one side of town. I ain't gonna start calling out towns, but that's so important of what you do. And when I get Mark back in, I'm gonna start the conversation. He tried to do a few things at once. But Tim, I want to first of all thank you. We just recently had a service here. Young lady that you went out you just go and do it. You don't need the fanfare. You don't need the press. I mean, we use them for our purpose. I want to be clear, because a lot of people, they don't know how to use the press for your purpose. If you can't get your message out there, you can't get the help.
Can't have a secret movement.
See, say it again, young.
You gotta be able to connect to people. The media is a tool.
Exactly, and we have to know how to use them. There have been so many times where you knew family members, and I'd say, "Why don't you do this eulogy?" And you just like, "Bishop, no, I'm just here." Like, and then insult with each other. Now, a lot of people, and Duncan knows this. Y'all know I don't really do the texting thing. Duncan will text me. I might text back a week later. You text me, text back 3 weeks later. But both of you, and it's just an honor to have two young men in the studio like this. Both of you, we keep in contact, so we don't just show up on the air. We keep in contact. I want to talk about this young man that you have been working to find. The unfortunate part, the young lady, she was found, unfortunately, deceased. Talk about this young man. He still hasn't been found, Tim?
No, he has been spotted in certain areas, as well as somebody that looked like him. I was fortunate enough to be out canvassing with some guys, a group of brothers who were part of the organization that we founded, and we came across a young brother that looked like him. Same age, same demeanor, polite kid, hanging around the gas station. So I'm wondering, is this the new culture? Because when I seen this young man, I could have swore that was him. I was already ready. How
old is he, Tim?
He was 12. This young brother was 13, but the young Jalen is 12,
He's still 12.
He just turned 13 on the 22nd
But
of
when
this
he
month.
went missing,
He was 12
Jalen
years
was
old.
12 years old.
Yes, yes.
Still has not been home. In how many months now?
We're going on 7 months. We're going on 7 months in August.
Obviously, very active family because I've seen you with them. Concerned mom, I believe.
Yes, concerned mom and father.
And dad. So you got a concerned mom, you got a concerned dad, you got a concerned family.
Yes.
And from the pictures, and I know you can't tell a lot from pictures because my kids look real innocent, but Lord. But from the picture, you look like a little kid.
Yes.
And that's what he is at 12 years old.
Yes.
Where was the last place he was seen?
Well, I got a call 2 weeks ago of a spotting of him in the area of Bailey, Delavan, and then also Delavan Grider. So we were there 2 days ago with the Buffalo Police Department. So big shout out to them. They were there on the spot. We were passing out flyers, and we were canvassing the area with full support of the community.
Yeah.
And we didn't come up with anything, but we did push out a lot of information. And some people I'm getting all over the places. I didn't know he was still missing. I would have took it more serious.
Yeah.
And now the alarm of that he's still missing and he's 12, just turned 13, has really just, sparked up the community to get involved more. So.
And it is criminal to harbor a minor.
Yes.
That's what I think needs to be out there
Yes.
because he's somewhere, and I pray to God he's somewhere alive. At the end of the day, if somebody out there, you know where he's at, you probably want to let those who know who may be harboring him that if they get caught, it's criminal.
Big time criminal.
Big
Right?
time criminal.
So right now, still nothing solid. I want to invite you back whenever you want to come on. You can even just call in because your mission is important. I've supported your mission.
Yes.
No. I haven't. True Bethel has.
True Bethel.
True Bethel. I got to get
Big
True
supporter.
Bethel has supported. I put a few pennies in the plate, but at the end of the day, it is the church that allows me the ability to be able to support causes like yours and what you are doing in our community, and it's just so important. Give us the information of where. Should somebody just call 911 if he's spotted?
Well, we have two numbers. We have 911, but we also have a confidential hotline, which is the GYC Ministry Action Coalition, a Western New York hotline too. Is 716-770-9093.
And if you missed it, you could just, again, rewind this on Facebook once it is rendered it up, and then they can get the number and we could call for them. Yes. Anything else you're working on?
I mean, if they have anything else that they want to add, they can reach out to me. I'm available. They can go on my website. They can go on GYC Ministries page, which we already have a page set up. And they can just, inbox me or messenger me. I'm around. You know how I am.
So let me ask you this before I let you go. I got to get on some other topics. How do you know so many people?
Well, you know what? I'm going to tell you like this. Buffalo is a very, very tight-knit city. And anywhere you go, when you say Buffalo, somebody's going to mention somebody. And I'm just one of those people that grew up in the city of Buffalo, although I was from one area, but I had relatives all over the place. And one of the things that we do have to do is bring back our family members and find out where we from, who are we, and who do we belong to? Because once you know who you are, you know who you belong to. I visited a lot of sides of town when I was little. I was active in sports. So, I had a privilege of going over my grandma's house in Cold Spring, growing up on Genesee, also downtown, the Fruit Belt. I have a lot of family ties, and it wasn't always pleasant. It wasn't always a popular person, but at the same time, I always knew where I was from, and I knew how to respect people when I was in the area and I was doing things, whether it was right or wrong. I respected who I was on their territory, so that go a long way.
So you're a fruit boy? You're a fruit belt?
I got Fruit Belt, I got Cold Spring, I got Genesee.
Oh, he got it all. Look at him.
But I'm definitely, Fruit Belt oriented. So, the Buffalo go through Fruit Belt. So.
But you don't know nothing about the PPs, do you?
The PPs?
You know anything about PPs?
What's that?
Perry Projects.
Perry Projects, the Perrys. You know what? Now, the only thing that I can say is that Perry's had a lot of basketball players, a lot of athletes. But it was a rumor, you don't go down to Perry unless you got invited. So, the Moses, I know the few, I know the McCutcheons down there, but I would have to go over there with somebody. If I went to Perry's, I tell that to anybody. Now, the Fruit Belt, Cold Spring, Central Park, anywhere else.
It wasn't that bad.
No. You go to the Perry's, you had to know somebody. You had to, if it was a cookout, if it was a birthday party, you had to learn what to say, what not to say, because it can get popping real quick. No, you don't just go to the Perry's.
Sam, I appreciate you, man.
Definitely,
You're welcome to hang
definitely.
around, but I wanted to make sure I got you on today to make sure we keep that on our front burner for our community.
I appreciate you. I appreciate everybody that's been helping. I appreciate all the volunteers because it wasn't just me. It was a group effort. A lot of people. I mean, even when I go in the bank and I talk to Craig, and Craig's like, how is it going? You know, what's going on? Any updates? So everybody, you'd be surprised how many people are paying attention to what you're doing in the community. So, my advice to anybody that's doing this kind of work, just keep on doing it, and keep on doing the work. Don't talk about it, just be about it. So that's my motto.
I love it.
And I thank you because you're always involved. Another thing, I call you in the middle of the night. You don't tell that problem. I call you 1:30, 2 o'clock.
But it's usually an emergency.
It is.
It is something that this is what we need right now.
Yes.
And and I appreciate what you do. I mean, I think that when you have mutual respect for what one person does and what another, and we then help one another, that's how you get it done.
Right, that's true.
The days of people thinking they could do it all and they don't need no help, man, that ain't. This is why we don't have at times community, because we think we can do it all. Darius Pridgen doesn't think he can do it.
No, you try not to do everything. You push it. You push the buck a lot. So I just appreciate you for giving me the platform. A lot of times, even with these homicide funerals, like you said, you ask me many occasions, do you want to just proceed on and do it? And I'm like, no, because it's a group effort. And I learned a lot from you. I learned a lot from everybody that's in front of me.
I sit down. I'll be on the side, be like, preach, man. Go ahead. Tell me we appreciate you, man.
No doubt.
Tell me, Kirk, we appreciate you.
Thank you.
You got White on the phone. All right, I was going. Yeah, tell him. Let me get Sharon on the phone because she asked me to call her at 1 o'clock. So just have them stand by. Duncan,
What's happening?
School cams.
I done got a few. I done got a few of them tickets. And
Have you really?
Oh yes. I don't even be knowing where, because they $50. I just be paying them. I don't got the time to be dealing with it. But I done got like 3 of them. I know one of them was by Saint Joseph or something.
Yeah, that's a popular one.
Yeah.
I think I may have one on the way. So because I just hit it, and Councilman, Madam President.
Yes, sir.
All right, hold on. Let me set you up real nice. I know you contacted me, and I was surprised of where. Oh, I think I lost her. Are you with me still?
I'm still here.
Okay. I was surprised at where you were on the speed school zone cams, because the district has been very pro speed zone cam. I know you're speaking as an individual citizen. I want to be clear right now of your feelings about the cameras.
Well, I want to be clear that I'm speaking not as the board president. And I don't feel that and as the board, it's just to say that our opinions have not changed on the issue of safety associated with the speed camera.
All right.
But what I'm saying now is I am speaking on behalf of myself as a private citizen and the Ferry District representative for the Board of Education.
All right.
Okay, I want to be clear with that. I'm not speaking as the president of the Board of Education.
And I think that's very important to say, because you are not representing the school board's opinion. You are representing Sharon Belton Cotman. And when you contacted me, again, I was surprised at where you were on this issue.
The reason because I represent the Ferry District. That's who elected me to do this office. And when I took a look at the cameras and how they were positioned, I took a look at the independent investigative report, and I had major concerns in the fact that each council member is allowed to select how the cameras will be used. And I had major concerns around all of that. And I reached out to you specifically because I wanted to be clear, okay, that I have a problem with how Ferry is being treated in relationship to other districts. Okay, and the purpose for putting the speed cameras, my understanding was to make sure things were safer in communities. That if you look at what I said from the very beginning, that investigative report came true. I have a problem with disparity of treatment, and I have a problem with the amount of cameras that is located in the Ferry District versus what's going on in other parts of the city. And this is why I reached out to you. I am not representing the board. I am representing the constituents of the Ferry District at this point, in which I'm one. And I'm saying that there has to be a system, a more equitable system in place in regards to these cameras. I don't know if implicit biases were used, that coincidentally the majority of the cameras are located and are negatively impacting low mod people. Granted, the conversation is that people of all pursuits drive through the area, whatever. But what is clear, okay, is that when I leave out of my house, within a mile or mile and a quarter, I encounter the majority of the cameras. That is not the case for other people. And so what my approach and what I was asking the councilmen of this district, of the Maston district, to do was not look at the traffic patterns, but to look at where the incidents were happening and to make sure that all areas, including North Buffalo, South Buffalo, West Buffalo, other than the East Buffalo, get their share of cameras, and that there is a consensus on how these cameras are going to be used, because you cannot arbitrarily enforce a law based on a district. Okay, you cannot arbitrarily, and you will find this out in the court proceedings, you cannot say that you can have so many hours here, but over here you got to have X amount of hours over here. I don't have to have that. And so that's why I wanted to reach out to you to say, you guys have got to do a better way in making sure that this is done in an equitable way. Okay, and so in speaking to the councilman of this area, he talked about traffic patterns. Well, I want to share one example. The principal at Buffalo Performing Arts asked for a camera to be placed on Maston because that's her unsafe zone. When the camera was placed, it was placed on Ferry. Okay, that was not a problem. Ferry was never a problem for her. The problem was Maston Avenue, and it still was not placed there. It was placed on Ferry. So when somebody is telling you what their concern is, and then again, in my neighborhood, in my district, it ends up on Ferry Street versus Maston, then it can't be about safety, because she was clear that it was her concern.
Madam President, again, I want to make it clear you reached out. You reached out as Sharon Belton Cotman, and you reached out as the elected official for the area. But I'm going to say it one more time. You did not contact me as the president of the board, so you are in no way representing the Board of Education as a whole.
Right, thank you.
All right.
And as a Ferry representative, I am concerned about safety. That's not the issue here. The issue is disparity of treatment and kind is the issue here. I'm very concerned about that. That my community that I represent would be the ones that are receiving the brunt of the cameras, and we know that there are not safe zones throughout this city that have not been addressed. So that's what I want to, and I thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to express myself.
That's what we're here for. Thank you, Matt. I almost said your title. Thank you, Sharon Belton Cotman. We just wanted to give, I want to give I let people come on who are for the cameras, people who are against the cameras. We ready to get the council member. You gonna get them? You can put them there. It's fine. Because, and I want to be very honest, this week we had what I felt was a pretty informative meeting with the commissioner, Commissioner Helfer, with Peter Reese, with Peter Rizzo, and at least to talk. And this is my feeling. No program is going to be perfect, but is there a way to do it better?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, I think that having different opinions on the show is what we need more of in our community.
Yes.
Because normally what happens is a community member says, I support something. And then the people who are against it say, that person is a sellout, that person ain't no good, they this. And then if you're against something, instead of saying, hey, I'm against this issue, I don't like your vote on this, Council President,
yes,
they say, Council President is a dirtbag,
right,
he's this, he's right. Instead of us just saying, this is what I think, here's my information,
yep,
here's what I'm hearing, this is what I think. Now let's talk about it. Now we might not all leave perfect kumbaya.
Absolutely.
But there's a level of respect that happens when you value somebody else's opinion and their thoughts. And we need more of that.
Yeah, I never wanted, and I've been on radio for a long time now, but I've never run a show where if I disagree with you, I'm not going to have you on. I literally think that I've been doing this job in a way for especially the last 10 years, 26 years of pastoring, that listens to people. And people, if you listen to people who really have, for real, they really want to come to solutions, you really usually come up with something even better.
Absolutely.
Like I never thought, and of course, I mean, everybody knows where I'm at on the speed zone cams and all that. I never thought about what she just said, that maybe one area is more impacted, but based on the state legislation and where you can put them, but that doesn't mean we have to put them all where many are concentrated in an area and where another one doesn't have it. You don't have to put them all up. I mean, right now we only have 5 folks. And remember, there's only 5 that were active. Now we have, what did we have, 20 out? 18 now are active. Remember that. 18 are active. And I'm going to tell you, I didn't even know it was one in front of Performing Arts. I probably got a ticket on the way.
Oh, yeah.
I missed it.
I just realized that there is one at Performing Arts because, where I go down
Never
to
paid
school.
attention.
And literally the first day I was leaving the church going down Ferry, I was like, where did this come from? Just like I didn't know until we got the request about the one out in Clinton.
Yeah.
I said, when did they put that one there?
So they're there, folks. And you got Councilmember White on the line?
I do have Councilmember.
Got Councilmember Rashid White on the line, who has filed a resolution, I believe, or for, what's your resolution, Councilmember?
The resolution is to eliminate the school zone cameras and to put less punitive means of keeping our children safe with speed humps and electronic devices that will let you know what your speed is. So that's the primary gist of it. Because, Council President, as you know, we've gotten so many complaints. I don't think we've gotten any more. Since I've been on the council, this is the most complaints that we have gotten on an issue. And, I think we've heard as council members those issues, and we just have to take action and do something that makes sense. Again, this is about making sure our children are safe, but not enriching the pockets of the city, because we can do it in a less punitive way, non-punitive way.
So your resolution, I believe, also called for infrastructure changes, right?
Yes, a great deal of infrastructure change, because again, we've even expanded it, not just from the schools where we have the cameras, but all schools. If we're talking about safety of children, then it should be at every school. So it's really talking about speed humps, signage, electronic digital signs that let you know your speed limit. And then we're going to have to talk about the speed itself. I mean, in the resolution it says the speed limit in a school zone would go from 15 to 20, which I think everyone has said is more reasonable. So
I know, I don't know if you were able to hear, I know you were on the phone. I don't know if you were able to hear the
ferry representative.
The ferry representative. I got to be very, very careful about the ferry representative, Sharon Beltman-Cotman. Did you have a chance to hear her?
No, I didn't hear it.
All right. Well, she was concerned about the concentration of cameras in the ferry district. And I was very surprised to hear that when she called me, because I thought she would be very much a proponent because of the leadership of the Board of Education, who has definitely been a proponent of these cameras. And to hear the ferry district representative say, we got to work on where these cameras are, was very interesting conversation.
Yeah, and and I've been trying to be a little bit more targeted in my comments, because it wasn't from the school board that we heard that there was not that they were supporting the cameras. It really was from the superintendent's office that said that they supported it. So, it was interesting to hear from the school board. But, Council President, what we're doing still makes sense, and it still keeps our children safe. But it's just a way to take away the fine part. We're a poor city. And I know for me, going forward, I'm going to be looking a lot closer at our decisions, because sometimes we overlook that situation. I spoke to a woman just last week who has cancer, and she has $200 in fines. And just, thank goodness she got the stimulus money, but that stimulus money should not be going for fines. It should be going for her medicine and the treatments that she may need down the road. But we really got to think about how we address these things. And it's just unfortunate that we couldn't have a meeting of the minds, because I think the way the council put it forth initially would not have had this negative impact. But that being said, since we do have another means in which we can do it, where it's non-punitive and we still create the same environment of safety for children, I think it's the right way for us to go. And that's not just for the 20 schools or 18 schools that are currently on cameras, but for all schools. If we're talking about safety, we just can't marginalize and pick and choose what children should be safe and what children shouldn't be.
Before I let you go, she talked about she was not pleased with the fact that every council member can decide whether they will allow the cameras on all day, which surprised me also, because I thought she would be a proponent for that as far as having them on all day, but she's not in agreement.
Yeah, and I'm glad to hear that as well, because we know one of our council members has been very forthright in saying that he wants them on all day, which again, that's not my district. My concern is for the residents in my district. But we know that in our districts, many of us who are black and brown, our folks are dramatically impacted by those decisions. So, I'm just glad we have something forth now that will still keep our children safe, but be less punitive to harm people who are already struggling in the midst of a pandemic.
All right, so that's coming before the council. Councilmember Rashid Wyatt, NC Wyatt, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Council President.
So I think we haven't heard the last of cams. If I had a chance to do it all again, tell me, would we? I think that what would have taken away some of the strain that this is causing is meeting of the minds before it went out.
Absolutely.
And I think, but I want to be clear. Let me say this for everybody who's against it. When the council voted, when it was brought to us, the state of New York authorized it, the city bid it. And there were hearings. Well, I should say it was public. The meetings would be full on Zoom. You didn't have to come out your house. Would be full and letters of people who supported the cams and of organizations.
Well, I think when we nationally did it, we were in chambers.
Session.
We were still in chambers.
But then when the discussion kept going, you had. It wasn't as if I can't participate. We heard from a very minimal amount of people against it. Very, very public process. So now when you talk about power to the people, if I've got, and it was organizations, and which, by the way, now some of those organizations have backed off. The unfortunate part is they back off, and you said something about silence. You can't have a movement.
Yeah, I mean, some things you got to do in quiet,
Right.
but generally you got to state your opinion and what's going on so you could rally people around you. Can I just make one more comment too? Just
To this?
Yeah, on this whole situation with the cameras, I've been disconnected, right? So this is like me as a parachuting in.
Good.
I see there was this whole months and months long discussion about it, right? Mm-hmm. A decision was made to have these schools on cameras. And then people who were affected and had to pay the fines, they start complaining and coming up with different ideas, and organizations start stepping up. Well, the council members, to me, outside, kind of just parachuting in, people are taking in the new information and making a new decision. That's how stuff is supposed to work, right? As you get, instead of saying, oh, we should have did this, okay, yeah, maybe we could have did different, but this is where we are right now in the present. This is the moment that's real. What can we do now? And it looks like one council member, Councilor Wyatt, is saying, this is what I'm hearing. These are my ideas. Here are some solutions. Let's adjust.
So I totally agree. Once you get new information, now we have, and those organizations, a few of them that were, we want it all day. We want to be 5 miles an hour, whatever. I'm being facetious, obviously. Then when everything started, when people started complaining, they became silent. Mm-hmm. So now you have, and I know government can't shift every time there's a shift in opinion, but what I do believe is that government is for the people, by the people, all that. I really, really believe that. So if those who put me into office are saying to me, Pridgen, you got to figure out a better way than this. Pridgen has a responsibility to figure out another way. Now, I want to be clear that the council did put forth a resolution before this one that had a majority that voted for it to make it only in the morning, only in the evening, period. That's it. And I think the speed may have changed. And it was the mayor's option to veto it. He did, and I'm not putting this on the mayor. I'm going to be clear. We could have overwritten that veto.
That's correct.
We could. So I I'm not one of those guys. I'm going to blame this person. This is all of us. Because when at the end of the day, people don't care what the mayor did or what Pridgen did. They care what did you all do? What did you all do? So we made a compromise. There are a few people who voted against it. That's all right. But this was the closest we could get to, all right, listen, some want it all day, some want it only in the morning and afternoon. I am one who wants it only in the morning and afternoon, and I am one that thinks that it should be 20 miles an hour. I am that one. I am one that would love to see, for the record, you hear it from me, I would love to see this go away and there be other ways of slowing traffic down. I mean, if and again, I voted for it. I'm not backing away from that. But when you go by Delaware Park and you've got to go 30, there isn't a camera there.
That's right. And if you ask me my opinion, which nobody has, which is fine because
I'm asking you your opinion.
I would say pause all the cameras until all the children are back in school full time. Right now, most of the kids are fully remote or some hybrid model. So this should be the time we did the pilot. Now let's revisit it, get new information. Wyatt's got some new ideas. Let's try some different stuff. But we don't need a fully in my opinion, a fully implemented school zone camera system with fines and penalties when only, 10 or 12% of our students in Buffalo Public Schools are actually in school.
Right.
So to me, it's illogical that this is so fervently like we got to have safety in our school zones right now when the kids ain't in school.
Yep. So this is here, and just exchanging ideas. I think that this is becoming a battle that I don't think is necessary to have. I won't say who, but I'll say the president of a union contacted me and said, Pridgen, can't you pull people together? You usually can pull them together and we get in the room. And I said, I'm trying, but it's becoming more and more where lines are drawn so hard in the sand.
And people move off their position too.
Yep.
So even if you got their lines drawn and you say, okay, let's come together, then somebody come back a couple of months later and change on you.
You act like you've been in City Hall.
No.
Because it's the truth. If I had and I'm a leader I am a leader of the council. At the end of the day, I've always tried to pull people together. And I think, to me, the solution out of this or into it, if we're all talking about schools, student safety, let's start there. And then let's backtrack a little and say, how else can we get there? And is there a limited use of the cameras if there's great signage and there are other ways to slow you down so that before I hit that camera, it's not me. For instance, somebody brought up about Main Street. When you're on Main Street, it's so many trees down by UB and all that, that you can't, honest, you can't keep watching the traffic as it's slowing down, going fast, going around, and look for these signs, right? So what happens if we spend money, because you got to spend money, right? So that at least starting with the cameras are that there is great signage so that now before I hit a camera, I have been fully and duly warned of what I'm going into. I could buy that a little better, right? At the end of the day, though, what is happening, and this is my fear, is, again, people are going to say, nope, this is how I feel. Nope, this is how I feel. There won't be any cooperation. And when there's no cooperation, there's going to be elimination sooner or later. And then it's going to be when somebody gets hurt, the council didn't want it. And it's just going to keep being the blame game. I want to see every student safe. However, I think that we have to have a lot more warning and that we have to look at where some of these cameras are placed. So you heard it from me. If I could get, Councilmember Wyatt has put forth the resolution, been very surprised and received what the Ferry District representative, and the only reason I was surprised is because I thought it was the board, like Rashid said, but I'm seeing that there are individuals on the board who are saying no. All right, so let me talk about another radio station this week as we get ready to get off the air. And I'll say this, I've been on the radio a long time, so I know that you could get into talking and misstep and all that and think back, maybe I shouldn't have said that. But There's some things is not a misstep. There are some things you do on purpose. I was interviewed by one of the TV stations yesterday asking me what my opinion was. If you are not aware of this, one of an early morning show on a different radio station, we're talking about where they put their toaster at, as far as the number. Have you heard about this? Mm-hmm. And then he compared his toast, and he's a white male, I believe, compared his toast to women of color and talked about what kind of toast he don't like and definitely won't have. And then it was just it was totally disrespectful. But I'm going to tell you what I said when this news station took my time and then didn't play it after I could have been at lunch. I'm excited. Like, I'm really excited right now. Because there was a time that ain't the first time that kind of stuff been going on. It's been going on for years on certain radio stations. But the reason I'm excited is because the backlash was immediate. The backlash did not just if the backlash just came from me on my show, it ain't nothing. Ain't nobody following that. When the backlash comes from major contributors to major advertisers, when the backlash comes from leaders, both black and white, when the backlash comes, because first of all, the way it went viral wasn't even from another news agency. It was from a regular citizen who got a hold of the audio, put it on, I believe, on his Twitter, and it went viral. That's what power to the people is. And I'm excited because now people have to be aware of what they are saying and know that it's not just you're going to get a slap on the hand. That owner of that owner of that company, of that radio station, fired him right away. Mm-hmm. He lost endorsements. He lost the ability to host the Sabres games. He lost the ability. So it went to his pocket. And until certain things go to people's pocket, they will stay out of pocket. Yeah. And that is what the type of change, when we talk about change, that is needed. Our mayor spoke out against it. Other leaders spoke out against it. And people, but this is the most important part. Don't wait on the Pridgen to speak out against it. Don't wait on the Byron Brown to speak out against it. You have the power to speak out against it. What did you think about that when you heard it?
Yeah, you know what? Martin Luther King talked about you can't make somebody not racist. Yeah, you can't legislate morality, right? But what you can do is make the punishment strong enough that it will deter them. Yeah. And so we're moving into the direction where, we still going to have racists. We still going to have people who are sexist or dehumanize other people. But we can make the punishment so severe that they got to think 3 and 4 times before they do it.
Absolutely.
And I think we're moving to that. So that, I heard it on the news. I said, oh, he fired him. Well,
good.
All right.
And let me say this. He has apologized, and then again, he's apologized like 2 or 3 times. Now, I take the because some people, I don't want to hear it. I do want to hear it. Mm-hmm. And then it will show in his future actions whether he really meant it. And that's how I feel. I mean, first of all, he could have just, once I got fired, somebody could have just been like, forget it, I'm fired now. Mm-hmm. But I think he knows if he's ever going to work in the industry again, that he has to show a change.
And because there's a consequence, he's got to take that self-reflection and say, you know what? Maybe that was wrong. And so in other conversation, he'll start to see and notice that type of thing.
Am I out of time? All right, I got a radio station. Here I come. Durham Memorial has a vaccine site being set up. They have a number 253-1815 for those in that area. True Bethel has a vaccine site being set up. You can call 895-8222 if you're in this area. That's what it was on here. It is registered by 4 p.m. on Wednesday. Registered by 4 p.m. 895. Oh, it's another number on there, but they'll give it to you. I don't have time to go backwards. Hobson's the Dr. Dry Cleaner, 874 East Delavan Avenue, 874 East Delavan Avenue. Thank you, Hobson's. I'm way over time. Brian K. Lewis, funeral host, 347 Peckham, 2528 Bailey, 1275 Sycamore. This week they took care of the Hardy family and the Keikobad family. Please register, get your vaccines if you're interested. You can call the church for either number, 895-8222. I won't confuse you. Just call. They'll tell you where to go. Until next week, I got to go. Power to the people.
Power to the people.